On the night of April 13th, 2023, every highlight reel in North America crowned the Boston Bruins the closest thing modern hockey has ever seen to a sure thing. They had rewritten the record book, bulldozed opponents with a grin, and looked destined to steamroll through June with champagne-soaked jerseys. 2 years later, April 2025, that same franchise limped into the offseason holding a lottery pick, their captain celebrating somewhere else, and a fan base wondering how greatness dissolved so quickly. How does a team travel from unbeatable to irrelevant in just 24 months? Tonight we retrace that dizzying descent. One misstep, one ego bruise, and one catastrophic decision at a time. But the first clue hides inside the very season that made them legends. Before the collapse came euphoria. During the 2022-23 campaign, the Bruins were more machine than club, 65 wins, 135 points, and the stingiest goals against rate in the salary cap era. Rookie coach Jim Montgomery unleashed a twin-engine goaltending monster. Linus Ullmark's Vezina run plus Jeremy Swayman's sterling relief. David Pastrnak detonated for 61 goals. One stretch saw Boston skate 44 days without a regulation loss. Skeptics muttered about a soft schedule. The Bruins answered with 14 straight home victories, the fastest dash to 100 points in league history, and a swagger that felt bulletproof. Beneath the glow lurked hairline cracks, veteran hips protesting, bonus penalties banked, nostalgia one-year deals propping up the room. Nobody cared. Legends were being printed in real time, and Boston was holding the press. But the higher the pedestal, the farther the fall. Playoff 2023, Round 1, Game 4, Sunrise, Florida. Boston up 3-1. Inside TD Garden, talk radio had already shifted from if to how fast the Cup parade would arrive. Then Bergeron's nagging disc flared, Ullmark's hips stiffened, and Coach Montgomery, so aggressive all year, suddenly froze, refusing to tandem his goalies. Florida's Matthew Tkachuk thrived on chaos, and the Panthers dragged the series back to Boston like a wounded lion still capable of biting. Game 5 overtime, Ullmark hands the puck away behind the net, Tkachuk buries the backhand, and a collective gulp swallows the Garden. 2 games later, Carter Verhaeghe's overtime winner completed the comeback, sending the President's Trophy juggernaut to the golf course in the first round. It wasn't just a defeat, it was a psychological cave-in. In exit interviews, more than one Bruin admitted they stopped breathing once Florida forced Game 7. The aura shattered, but the front office pretended it was a blip. They had no idea how loud those cracks would echo in July. July 25th, 2023 should have been a quiet off-season Tuesday. Instead, Patrice Bergeron retired at 38. Weeks later, August 14th, David Krejci bowed out too, erasing the cerebral pivots who had kept Boston's identity stable for a decade. Their bonus-heavy contracts left $4.5 million in overage charges against a stagnant salary cap. Meanwhile, the 2023 deadline splurge, Dmitry Orlov, Tyler Bertuzzi, Garnet Hathaway, had already cost premium picks. Suddenly, the NHL's most talented roster looked old, expensive, and shallow. Free agency day saw Boston shopping exclusively in the bargain bin, while rivals reloaded. Internally, some wondered if the organization's loyalty culture had finally boomeranged. When the glue retired, nothing else stuck. Management still insisted the window remained propped open. For 5 breathtaking months, that mirage almost held. October 2023 opened like a tribute tour, efficient enough to post 109 points by April. Brad Marchand inherited the C, Pastrnak remained electric, and Ullmark Swayman again ranked top 5 in tandem save percentage. Yet underlying numbers twitched, shot share eroded, power play sputtered, and the margin for error shrank. In May, Boston edged Toronto in a 7-game slugfest, but destiny had a wicked sense of humor. Round 2 delivered Florida, sharper, meaner, convinced lightning could strike twice. On May 18, 2024, the Panthers closed the series in 6, again clinching at TD Garden. The handshake line felt different, less shock, more resignation. Pastrnak later told Czech media the team needed fresh blood. Instead, July delivered fresh headaches, bonus overages, contentious arbitration hearings, whisper loud, locker room fatigue. Bruins brass faced a crossroads, evolve or calcify. They chose the worst possible compromise. A banner ceremony on October 12, 2024, honoring that 65-win record, felt almost ironic. By November, Boston sat 8th to 9th to 3rd, 31st on the power play, suffocating in post-Bergeron identity angst. GM Don Sweeney fired Montgomery on November 22nd, elevating assistant Joe Sacco. Practices turned into bag skate roulette, systems changing daily. Cap pressures forced Boston to dump Matt Grelchik in December for a 4th-round pick and to watch Jake DeBrusk leave in free agency days later. Beat writers chronicled visible friction between Marchand and younger forwards after a rash of penalties. Trade deadline talk swelled. What happened in March stunned even cynics. March 5th, 2025, Florida announces a blockbuster Brad Marchand to the Panthers for a 1st-rounder, 2 prospects, and cap ballast. Boston framed the deal as a strategic reset. Fans called it surrender. Without their heartbeat agitator, the Bruins spiraled, winning just 5 of their final 20 games. Charlie McAvoy injured his shoulder at the Four Nations face-off and never fully recovered, finishing with a career low point total. Jeremy Swayman stole occasional nights but couldn't single-handedly erase a roster leaking high-danger chances. On April 6th, the Montreal win mathematically eliminated Boston, ending a 16-year streak of relevancy. During the season-ending press conference, Pasternak sat stone-faced as reporters asked about requesting a trade. He dodged, but the silence screamed. Local radio labeled the room toxic. Season ticket renewals dipped for the first time since 2006. Meanwhile, down in Sunrise, Marchand fit like a glove, and the view from South Florida was about to get even sunnier. June 2025 should have belonged to Boston, yet the cup glittered in humid Florida skies, and Brad Marchand was first in line to raise it. As confetti drifted down Las Olas Boulevard, New England bars fell awkwardly silent, their former captain grinning in teal instead of black and gold. The Bruins, meanwhile, limped into free agency with a bottom-tier prospect pool, a coaching vacancy, and cap space that barely covered one impact forward. Local columnists dubbed it the Summer of Shattered Mirrors, a season ticket renewal dip, confirming the fan base's crisis of faith. Front office turbulence only deepened the wound. Team president Cam Neely floated a mini reset, while GM Don Sweeney weighed everything from shopping David Pastrnak to handing the reins to Providence's Ryan Moganell. Scouts admitted Boston hadn't drafted a bona fide top 6 forward in nearly a decade, and rival executives whispered that a full tier down might be the cleanest escape route. Across the conference, Florida's brass gloated over back-to-back crowns and a core signed through 2030, cementing a dynasty the Bruins once seemed destined to become. For Boston fans, Marchand's playful parade banter with Matthew Tkachuk felt like salt in an open wound. The agitator who used to torment them had become the partner their legend needed to finish the job. Television ratings in New England plunged. Panthers merch cracked the NHL's top 5, and the once feared Big Bad Bruins brand began to look like a glossy souvenir of another era. How does a franchise pivot from measuring stick to cautionary tale so fast? The lesson stings harder than any forecheck. Boston's collapse proves greatness is leased, not owned. 1 overtime turnover in spring 2023, a pair of revered retirements, and a salary cap vice turned a record-setting juggernaut into a lottery team in less than 2 years. For every contender, Colorado, Edmonton, even Florida itself, this is the warning. Depth ages overnight, cap math never blinks, and momentum can vanish with a single unlucky bounce. Yet resurrection happens just as quickly. The centennial season looms, and Boston still boasts blue-chip anchors in Pastrnak and Charlie McAvoy, plus a market that turns relevance into revenue. Whether Sweeney doubles down, swings a blockbuster, or detonates the roster altogether, the coming year will decide if the Bruins become a trivia answer or the league's most dramatic comeback story. So it's your turn on the ice. Will Boston rebound before the century mark, or has irrelevance settled in for good? Drop your verdict below, and if you've stayed with me through this roller coaster journey, smash that subscribe button. In the NHL, the distance between legend and letdown is a single heartbeat and one overtime goal.